Hi, Kathy Odell here, back with another episode of Shop Talk at the Crystal Lawn. All right, today we have Tracey, who works with me at the shop. She's going to talk about candle magic and give you some information on the variety of candles out there and what you can do to make your own magic. All right, I'll let you start or take it away.
Okay. Candle magic is actually one of my favorite forms of magic because it's extremely simple, yet it's extremely powerful. A lot of people do not realize they have been doing candle magic since their very first birthday. You blow out that birthday candle, make your wish, you're sending that out into the air. So,
I never thought of that.
Yeah, been doing it all along. Okay, so today I'm just going to talk about a couple little things you can do to really increase the power of your candles. Basically what I have here today is just a simple little black chime candle. Very cheap, but the good thing about this, personalize it. So the first thing we're going to do is consecrate your candle. Just a very fancy way of saying you're carving your initials into it, you're carving your address into it, a symbol, whatever it is that personalizes this candle for you. So today we have a black candle, represents protection. So say I'm just going to bring some protection into this store. So I would carve the address of this shop, that's our old shop.
Too late for it now.
223 Baltimore Street.
Yeah, I was going to say a little late for that now.
Gettysburg, PA. Good enough. Okay. So again, you could just do a little symbol if you wanted. If you were doing, for example, a green candle for prosperity, carve a $sign into it, whatever. But
or 500 because
yeah,
that's
there
what you
go.
want to need.
Yeah. If you want to sit here and inscribe a million
And then I
little
want
dollar
to
signs.
note that she just used a paper clip. It's like
Yes.
you don't have to have a special
No,
tool, but
no.
it's always nice
Could
to
be-
play with them.
Right. It could be a stick pin, a toothpick, a little paring knife. Just be careful. So yeah, again, don't need anything fancy for that. So your candle is consecrated. The next step is anointing. Right now I have protection oil that I'm going to be using just because it's a protection candle. However, there are oils for everything. Your prosperity, health, love. Power is a really good oil to use because power will work for anything. You're just increasing the power of whatever candle you're doing. So just a little drop of oil in your hands. You rub that oil together until you really feel that heat and energy. And then you want to hold your candle and you just kind of start anointing and rubbing that oil around the candle. I generally like to start at the base and just kind of work my way up. Do not get oil on the wick just because it will be, a little flammable more so than the candle itself. You don't want that to happen. So just kind of stay away from the wick. But the candle itself, you want to just kind of anoint that whole thing. And again, this is symbolic more than anything. You don't need a whole lot of oil, just a little light coat of it. So now your candle is consecrated and anointed. The next thing you can do if you want to, this is not necessary, but a lot of people like to twine their candles. And basically, you take a little piece of sage, a little piece of lavender, bayberry, whatever herbs you may have at home, make a little cluster of them. And then basically what you're doing is you're just taking a little piece of twine, something that will burn without exploding, and you're just twining your candle. Wrap your herbs around it, and you can just kind of, you don't have to necessarily tie it, just tuck it, right, exactly.
And
Just
it's
so
like
it'll
she's
stay.
using the sage with the black, and you could use
Yep.
like a little rose petals or whatever, could wrap around a pink or a red candle for a love
Absolutely.
candle.
Lavender for calming and healing, or things
and
like
just
that.
use the appropriate herb for your candle
Exactly.
color.
So with the sage, with the protection, so now you're kind of doing a cleansing, clearing, and protection at the same time. So your candle is ready to go, ready to burn. Make sure you're putting it in some type of fireproof container. especially if you've twined it with herbs. You want to make sure you have a little plate or something heat-proof that's going to catch any pieces of herbs or wax
Yeah,
that
if
may
they fall
fall
out, like
yeah.
a pie tin or an old potter pan, or
Right.
like sometimes
Right.
I'll use tuna tins, cat food tins,
Yes.
clean them out, and
Yes.
I put, if I've got a little candle, you're doing a chime candle, you can take the little holder and stick it in the middle just to help contain whatever is the fallout is.
Absolutely. And if you don't have an appropriate size candle holder for your candles, that's okay. You can always just take a little bit of the wax, drip it on a cheap plate, hold your candle up. Just, the main thing is, especially if you've got the herbs, make sure you have something that's going to catch the wax dripping, something that's going to catch possibly burning pieces of the herb that's falling off. So just be very careful of that. So now your candle is ready to go. You can say a little mantra or a little prayer before you light it up if you want to. Say it out loud, speak it in your head. Just tell the universe, this is protection and cleansing for my home or for me or for my shop, whatever it is you're doing. So candle's ready to go. I'm not actually going to light this up here because smoke detectors are weird. And candle's ready to go. Oh, that's
I'll
right.
put that so they
Can
can
you see
see
it?
it a little better.
There you go. Perfect.
Thinking,
Okay.
we need a thing up here, and I don't have a thing.
So your candle's ready to go. A lot of people like to use matches when they light their candle, just because it feels a little more natural, especially the wooden matches.
Yeah, I know. I got a box.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. That's not necessary. It's not gonna. Your candle's not gonna work because you used a lighter to light it. But I do like the ritual of
lighting,
striking the wooden match, and
I never thought of
adds
that.
a little
I
more to
I know,
it,
I
don't
do
you
that.
think?
I honestly
Yeah.
got to keep a pack of them at home.
Yeah.
And I've got the long ones because when you have the big candles, or
Yes.
if I got them inside of a big thingy.
In the jar,
Yeah,
yes.
it's like you
down.
can't reach down anyway with a lighter. You're constantly burning yourself, so you need something that you can
Exactly.
use. The fireplace is what they're called, fireplace lighters, or something.
Yes.
These big sticks.
Yeah, real long sticks. You can still find those.
Somewhere. I don't know.
Walmart
I got them at a
has
grocery
them.
store at some point. Who knows? I don't know.
So they're not hard to find.
And if push comes to shove, the old big fire lighters.
Exactly. So once your candle's lit, you can, just let it go. You don't have to necessarily sit there the whole time. Just make sure your candles are not left burning unattended. If for any reason you have to leave the house or leave the room, make sure you snuff your candle out. You do not need to burn the entire candle at one time. It's great if you can. However, if you can't, that's totally understandable. Snuff the candle out, because what you're doing is you're sealing in your intention. You do not necessarily need a snuffer. They're great to have. I've got about 5 of them.
They're fun.
They are. And it's just nice. Again, it's just like a nice part of the ritual. However,
you can use. I use a kitchen knife. I used to use a butter knife to do before I got my first snuffer.
Like your fingers, you're snuffing. You do not want to blow the candles out unless they're, like what I was talking about earlier with the birthday wishes. There are certain things and certain times where you do want to blow that out into the air, into the universe. But most of the times you definitely want to snuff the candle out. If you have the time to allow the candle to burn out completely on its own, then no snuffing required, it's done. But definitely seal those intentions in if you have to blow it out, and then the next day or later that evening, relight that candle up. It's
fully
ready
charged
to go
and ready to go.
Absolutely, there's nothing else you need to do to it. So some of the other different candles we can talk about. If you really, really want to get into the whole candle magic thing, this is the simplest form. However, there are Reiki charge candles that we have here. They already have the oils and the color, the fragrance, everything is already kind of sealed into that candle from a Reiki master.
You're still going to want to consecrate it though for your own
you do want to
need
consecrate it, personalize it.
Because it's like they have them for abundance and money and love and protection, of course, the black ones.
Right.
And the chakra candles for like when you're doing your
yes. Balance your chakras. Color intention is a wonderful thing to learn about. Basically, like Kathy just said, your chakra colors, that's a great way to balance your chakras. You can burn all 7 colors, or however you want to do that. If you feel just one chakra needs balance, focus on that. Besides black, of course, being for protection, your white is all about cleansing and clearing and grounding. Grounding can be black, reds, things like that. You've got your greens for your luck and prosperity. You have your blues for health and healing. You have your
white for cleansing,
red for passion, pink for love. So yeah, purple for legal matters. I mean, there's all types of, and every color has a couple different meanings.
I can go with this and that.
Right. You can burn a few different candles together. If you want this and this and this and this, hey, burn 4 or 5 candles at one time. You can absolutely do that.
I want it all.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Every crystal, every candle, There are also, we have figurine candles. If you really want to get into this, there are figurines of, lovers or male or female.
I think they're for the lazy witch, because you're supposed to inform them yourself. But if you haven't got the time and you really hate that crappy little thing you made, it's like, wow, man, all you got to do is you get a picture of that person that you wanted to represent. They say that's the best.
Yeah.
And cut out a photo of the face and stick it to the face of the wax figure to personalize it.
Absolutely.
Or if you have some of their hair or...
And consecrate
something
those
personal.
Candles too. Carve that person's name into that figurine candle.
You
like
can
that.
personalize it, a piece of clothing,
absolutely.
whatever nasty stuff you want to do, and that'll get you up.
However, we do always say, do not mess with anyone else's free will. Just be careful. Harm none. We have knob candles. Knob candles are really great if you have the time and the devotion for that. Basically, it's 7 knobs, and you burn 1 knob a day for a week. So that's really, really getting that magic energy. I'm serious.
You are giving a lot of time and energy, so it's a more potent form of candle magic because you're spending 7 days at it.
Yes,
I've
so
never
much of
had
your energy is going into that.
And that gives it more strength. I'm too scatterbrained to focus that long, so
life happens, and
I'm a chime candle person or a votive.
Tea lights,
tea lights are even better, man. You're lucky they didn't stay
2 hours.
An hour.
So again, very personalized. Another candle we were talking about that we have here that we swear by, Kathy and I both love them, our customers love them, the bayberry candle. I'm sure you guys have heard about, on New Year's you burn it all day long.
It's a bayberry candle, when burned to the socket, brings luck to the home and gold to the
pocket. Exactly. And that sounds corny, and it sounds like, oh yes.
And the candle it comes in, it looks like
you got it at the dollar store.
It does, I swear. But I bought them just because I thought, oh, bayberry. But then it's like, I don't smell bayberry. I mean, this is really there. Might be a drop or two. But when I burned that candle the first time, it's like, what's going on? It's like we started getting busy. And every time they'd have a slow day, they'd call me at home and tell me, burn the candle, and I'd burn it, and business would pick up.
Every time, I'm telling you, we'd call her to you need to light a candle, but
it's dead today.
It really, really does work.
And you're telling me people come in, and regular people, they keep buying them because it's apparently working for them too.
Swear by them. They'll call us and did you get those bayberry candles
we
back?
Were out of
Did you get those bayberry candles?
For like 6 months we couldn't even get them, and now they're back, but they changed the outside a little bit, but I just add a couple drops of my own bayberry oil because you can't. I love bayberry, and that's like, this doesn't smell. But and it's green.
And even if
I think it's the words on the outside. It is. It's that energy you're getting. You know how they're always talking about, drink your water with the words and this, and it's like, oh yeah.
Yes.
But apparently there is something about the energy of the.
Absolutely. And it's almost like, even if these things are mass produced in a factory, there's something in the universe that knows these are bayberry candles. These have a specific intention And doesn't matter if they're mass produced by some factory, by some dude that has no clue what he's even working with. The universe knows.
Well, I think
And
also
they
it's your
really-
energy and your belief in it that also empowers
absolutely.
it. Because I
Yes.
will
Absolutely.
just use it as my base green abundance
Yes.
candle.
Yes, yes. And even if it's a candle in a jar, in a glass jar, and you can't get that consecrated
You can do it
symbol
on the
in,
top.
do it on the top. Take a Sharpie right underneath on the glass itself
yeah,
if you
I
don't want,
thought of that.
carve or just write your name in it, or,
I
something.
used to always just use a pencil, even if the lead was broken, just to have the point to
Yes.
do the scratching, and I would do the
Absolutely.
surface inside because it gave you enough of a thing to reach
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, I absolutely adore candle magic. I love it. It's simple. You don't have to be a magician or a witch or, to do it. Anybody can do it. Like I said, you've been doing it since your first birthday. So
That's amazing. I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that. That's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
blow it out and get your wish. Well, that's it today for our little talk about candles and candle magic with Tracey. And of course, she's going to be back and we're going to discuss other things. Like I just found out she likes aliens too. So we'll have an alien conversation. 'Cause
Ancient Aliens, best show on TV.
I didn't even know that. I didn't think anybody here actually got into aliens, and I thought I was the only one. So we'll probably do that very soon. And then she's also going to be talking about herbs and herb magic and how to do charm bags and pouches. And she's probably going to do a lot of our Wiccan topics.
Yes, oils and aromatherapy. We'll discuss spell casting, especially closer to Halloween.
Oh yeah, because we're going to have to do divination. We're going to have to. Well, I just did one on divination. I'm going to do my dowsing rod thing first. But we do have all kinds of wonderful topics coming up in future shows. Anyway, I want to thank you for visiting with us here at Shop Talk. I got to keep remembering the word Shop Talk at the Crystal Wand. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, Kathy Odell, back again, this time to talk about dowsing rods. Today I'm just going to give you some quick basics on them. We make our own at the shop. The key to holding the dowsing rod and working with them is keeping them parallel to the floor, all right? People tend to walk around holding them downward like this. No, that's going to swing any old way. No. You don't want to point them up at the sky, and you don't want to be holding on to them like a six-pack either. I know, I get carried away. When you're holding your rods, let me show you here. The key is to hold it loosely in the palm of your hand. Okay, I'm going to hold it this way. You rest your thumb against the top. You're not holding it like this. You're not gripping it. It's not going to move. You're just holding it loosely like this in your hands. See how it's like I'm just cupping around it, and it can swing any old way. I can go like this if I want. All right? So now you know. Hold it loosely. Don't let your thumb be holding on the top, and don't hold it tight there either. You want to hold it so that it's just resting. The thumb, it has to lay here like this. Okay? Resting in the palm of your hand with the thumb just resting on that inner bar, just there. You want it to be able to move. Now, hold them straight, parallel to the floor, like I said before. This way, you're going to balance them. Now, most people will use them finding energy fields. You're looking for ghosts, they're looking for spirits, they're looking for graveyards, they're looking for residue. They're also used to find water. You can use them to find heavy metals underground. You can use them to find anything that emits energy. And don't ask me why, but when you have the rods, whether they're brass or copper, they resonate to that energy field. They might not exactly tell you what it is, but they let you know there's something there. That's why the ghost hunters like them, because if there's like astral energy, spirit energy, they have a nice tendency, if you're going into a space and you're doing it right and you're walking, it'll just stay straight. But when you come across that spirit, now I'm going to fake it out for you just to show you, they'll cross, magically like that. And you got something. Just make sure you're not walking into a house that has an electric line or a main water line or water pipe under the floor where you're standing, because it'll cross over them too, especially when the water's flowing. It's amazing. And we can hold them over the cash registers at the shop, and they cross every single time. Take them into your sink, turn the faucet on, and you can watch them cross over while that, trust me, it'll happen. Anyway, now that you know basically what they do, this is how we use them. When you want to ask, some people use them for divination. So if you want to ask yes and no questions, you can get to hold them. Calm yourself down and say, show me yes. Okay, mine's crossing. That's telling me that yes for me with these rods is a cross. Some people, it'll turn backwards. Another lady I know, she said she always used, she didn't just use them for ghost hunting, she used them as a divination tool when she wanted answers to questions that were yes or no. For me, things tend to be no movement or the crossing over for a yes. If they go around the side, that's either a really big no or something else is going on, so I'll be watching for that. But they can be used for so many things, and like I said, asking yes and no questions. All right, we'll do a divination question. Is this video going to be enjoyed by more people than not? I didn't do that. Honest to God, I didn't do that. That did it on its own, so I'm happy. Another kind of rod you could use. Some people prefer the copper rods. Now these I have beaded. I like the beads myself because I feel like it gives it a freer swing, because people tend to have sweaty palms or they get nervous and they hold too tight. This way, if you're holding too tight, you're holding on to the beads, not the rod itself. Just remember, once again, leave that top bead loose. You're hanging loose there, because if you don't, you can constrict the movement and it won't go anywhere for you. And you don't want to be holding the bottom, because that's what's twirling around. You want your hands on those beads with the bottom and the top bead either loosely held or barely. Don't put a lot of weight or pressure on it. Once again, you can hold the copper rods. Now, I would think copper rods would be a little better for ghosts, because copper's supposed to, they used to do the copper rooms when they did the spirit. Oh, the spirit talks back around the turn of the century, 1880s, whenever spiritualism was in its heyday. Copper was a big thing. Copper's a conductor, So, let's use the copper rods this time, and let's ask another question. Before you do any type of divination, you should just take a moment to center yourself. A couple deep breaths, which I did not do. Calm down. And then say a silent prayer or a loud prayer and ask your spirit guides to be with you, to protect you, and surround you in a bubble of light, so you're not picking up on any negative energies or something out there in the atmosphere you don't want to be dealing with. Okay? Now, I want to know, is a spirit guide or somebody from on the other side there for me right now? Can you help me with my questions today? That's a good sign. Now, all right, let's calm that down. Quit crossing now. I gotta get them settled again. All right, let's go back to, is there a presence around me right now? Okay. Is this an old friend of mine? Okay. An old friend. An old friend from, let's stop. An old friend from the circle that I used to hang with. An old friend from school. An old friend from another life. Okie dokie. An old friend from a past life, I'm assuming. Were we very close in this past life? Are you here acting as a guide to me or as a help now? Okay. Ooh. I'm getting the hug that oh dear Lord have mercy, I gotta stop this. Apparently, one of my guides is a friend from a past life. This is something I'm going to have to continue to explore, but I'm going to do that on my own time, not for a video. This is almost too spooky. Anyhow, that's how you use dowsing rods, or at least one of the ways. Glad you tuned in. I hope you learned a little something about them. Just remember, clean them. Brasso's good. Any metal polish. Just, it doesn't take a lot. You just rub it on, paper towel and smooths it down, and you'll be amazed at how the black comes off and they shine again. And like I said, after you use them a couple times, you're going to want to cleanse them anyway, just in case you picked up something you shouldn't be picking up. So much for now. We'll return again soon with another video on another topic, and we'll also continue with our video discussions as soon as I get a couple of them, more of them done this week. Till later, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.